watched the latest Summoning Salt video that was about
the Star Wars one?
Lego Star Wars.
Oh.
And I sat there and I thought, I won't watch an hour and a half film, but I'll watch an hour and a half video about Lego speedruns. And I thought, is there something wrong with me? No, not that Summoning Salt videos aren't good, but I'm like, what is going on in my brain where I'm like, it's like fully produced $100 million movie? I'm like, no. But this Lego Star Wars speedruns,
Lego Star Wars speedrun,
this is what I want to watch.
Yeah.
I think there's just a certain kind of commitment when it comes to entertainment. Sometimes you want to watch a highly produced, a highly
for sure
produced piece of content that you can really like invest yourself in.
Yeah.
But that takes a lot of like, I think that takes a lot of emotional commitment. You know.
I agree, and that's why I think the Netflix logo is too long. I'm out. But the boom, it's just like 5 seconds. I'm like,
the opening, like
I genuinely have you not done this? Think about it. So many times when that Netflix intro plays, I'm like, no, I'm actually good. And I tab out. I'm like, I think it gives me 5 seconds to like realize I'm getting myself into something, and I'm like, no. Does anyone else do this?
I hate how I know exactly what you're
Have
talking
you
about.
not done this?
Sorry?
Where you've opened something on Netflix and that Netflix thing plays, it's literally like 5 seconds. But that 5 seconds gives me 5 seconds to be like, actually, I don't want to.
It's like, it's the 5 second window of, are you sure you want to commit?
Yeah, genuinely. Because then you have like you have like another 10, 15 seconds of long fucking credits playing. And it's just
it's more like 10 seconds because it's the 5 seconds of the dun dun, and then it's followed by Netflix Presents.
Yeah,
or something like that,
just
right?
long enough, and it makes me feel so serious. So I'm like, I'm out.
The internet has just hacked all of our minds because they've just given us pure ADHD at this point to the fact that a 15-second intro of a logo can make us rethink, do I actually want to sit down for this, or do I just want to put on a YouTube video which just immediately
I could have watched 3
the
YouTube
point.
shorts at that time.
Yeah.
Like that's
I have found myself closing out of stuff a lot more recently. But I did watch something that was kind of interesting. I watched a show on Netflix called Kaleidoscope. I don't know if you've seen this.
No.
Nope.
So the concept of the show is that essentially there's 9 episodes, if I recall correctly, and every Netflix account will be presented to them in a different order. So you'll get a different episode order depending on...
so it's
kind of like Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah.
Was it all different for everyone?
Yeah.
The episodes in that are all randomized.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But the one thing with this is that it's not like an anthology series. It's like a story that progresses.
But it's told out of order.
Well, it's told whatever order you get given.
Right.
So it's one connected story.
So it's like a Tarantino.
Yeah,
film,
so it's really odd. And
It's like Monogatari.
It sounds impossibly dumb.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I think they do is that I think the last episode is always the same, I think.
Okay.
So everything else...
This is a gimmick.
It's 100% a gimmick.
It's a fucking gimmick. Okay?
It's a choose your own adventure, but you can't choose it.
I have heard this argument before because anime has done this before. It was called Haruhi Suzumiya. So originally, when Haruhi aired, it was aired in this. There was this huge debate when it aired, right? Because it was aired like the show out of order, where every episode happened in a different part of the timeline, and that was the first season, right? Mm-hmm. And then everyone was just like, oh my God, this is fucking genius. They're letting us piece together the story by telling it out of order. We can piece together the timeline ourselves.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking convinced that they only did that because the most interesting part of the first Haruhi season were the first 6 episodes. And I think the producers realized that because they realized, holy shit, the last episode is a fucking Christmas episode, at least Disappearance. It's basically a fucking filler episode. We can't end the season like this, so we have to like just piece the episodes out of order to make it seem interesting.
It's definitely doesn't feel that way. I was very skeptical going into it because I thought, oh, this is just going to be 9 episodes that feel completely disconnected. And
then it's up to you to put the pieces together.
Yeah, but it's not really like that. It was actually pretty surprisingly not bad. I thought it was, I was very skeptical of the concept. I was like, this is fucking dumb. Just tell me the story in the order. But depending on which order you do get, it can be a different experience because essentially a lot of the episodes cover like backstories and certain information is kind of pieced together, or you're given certain, like, you could figure something out way sooner if you're given a certain episode as opposed to something else.
This literally just sounds like Monogatari if you didn't know the broadcasting order. And you just if you just randomly picked seasons, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess we're gonna find out about this character that I know nothing about.
It is kind of interesting though. I will say I don't know if it's worth watching because it did feel like after I got halfway through it that. Okay, it's like I really did feel segmented.
Yeah.
But I do think that if you got certain episodes, it would feel like a completely different experience.
As much as I realize it's like a gimmick, I do actually quite like storytelling methods like that, especially if like the actual root story is interesting enough.
So it's about a bank heist.
Yeah.
And basically there's multiple characters and there's certain episodes, like an episode where they do the heist. There's an episode after the heist.
Yeah.
And so that, there's a chance that you could get the after the heist episode first. Which might be confusing because the characters aren't really introduced properly, where there are other episodes that do introduce characters better. Yeah. So it's like I would say there probably is an order that is probably best to watch it.
Yeah.
But you could get, say, like a Quentin Tarantino experience if you had the after heist episode first.
Yeah.
And then you kind of piece everything together.
Well,
so it does work.
The thing about how you're describing it is that to me, like, I love the kind of storytelling method where it's not always presented to you in chronological order, but there has to be some sort of intention with that.
Oh, no, I agree.
It needs to be done with purpose. Like the first example I think of, aside from Quentin Tarantino, is like Barkano, right?
Yeah.
Barkano, the story is told in different time perspectives and it's not given to you in chronological order, but a lot of thought from the creators was given into what piece of information do we allow the audience to see in order to piece things together. This just feels like we have a story and we're just gonna randomize it and let the audience figure it out. And I'm just like, that's just fucking lazy. Okay,
it just sounds like a Vsauce episode of like, so the story starts at chapter 1, or does it?
I think it was probably just a case of, hey, we have the show. How do we secure Netflix funding? Let's have a gimmick they can market.
Yeah,
to be fair, it is interesting. Like it's kind of impressive.
Sounds interesting, yeah.
It's impressive that you could have all these episodes kind of be mixed and it somehow still makes sense.
Yeah. Is it a good show?
I'd say 7 out of 10. The reviews are pretty positive for it.
Okay.
7, 8 out of 10s. Like it's decent. Like it's a fun gimmick. The acting is kind of some of the characters act and you're like, what the fuck? Where they find you? Because they have like Gus from Breaking Bad is the main character, and he's pretty good because he's good in everything.
Yeah, for sure.
But some of the other actors, you're like, where'd they find?
Does he play a bad guy again?
No, he plays a good guy.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Good, depending on who you ask, I suppose. I don't know.
There is no way he can play.
Listen, I'm of the mindset.
He's playing a sus again.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, whoever we're following in the story, I'm like, that's the good guy, straight up. I don't care if he kills everyone. We're following him. I sympathize with him.
Yeah,
I got monkey brain.
That's also definitely like a trend or a gimmick recently as well, isn't it? That Netflix is banking on with a lot of their like fictional stories. Is that like you're following the good guy, or is he really the good guy?
Well, I think it's just made like that kind of storytelling has become more popular because of like big shows like Breaking Bad.
Genuinely, I was thinking about this the other day. Was you still watching a lot on Netflix, right?
I watch documentaries.
I was like, does Netflix still make good stuff?
The general consensus is no.
Yeah, because I remember, I've realized recently just how little I watch Netflix in comparison to how much I used to watch it. It used to be Netflix had this show that I really, really wanted to watch, or like a few shows, and then you'd find some random shows along the way.
Yeah,
and some random shows put on the background. And now it just seems like every time I put on Netflix, it's just this is a background show. And it's never. I never put on Netflix to be like, I'm going to commit to this anymore.
I mostly just use Netflix to like just watch like movies that have come out in the past where I'm just like, oh, okay, it's on Netflix. I guess I'll watch it while it's here. Yeah. But it's not like something I'm like seeking out. It's not like I have to watch this movie. Thank God it's on Netflix. You know.
I mean, I haven't watched the new Knives Out yet, but I heard that's pretty good.
I've watched it.
Was it good? Did you watch the first one?
I didn't watch the first one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I kind of didn't know anything.
You watched it out of order?
Well,
yes, I did.
It's an anthology.
I heard that it was all like every story.
The first one was really good.
Is meant to be self-contained.
Yeah,
right.
And yeah, I mean, had a fine time. It was like a kind of like a murder mystery whodunit, and then it didn't blow my mind away or anything like that. It was a fun time.
Okay.
We watched it on Christmas Eve, I think.
Right.
And it was like, for some reason, even though it was set in like a middle of like a fucking summer like Mr. Beast Private Island kind of
I got
deal.
10 people on an island to solve a murder mystery.
One of them is going to die.
You know. I remember watching Knives Out, and I was like, this just feels like a Mr. Beast video that they've scripted for like the longest time.
It didn't make the YouTube cut, so they're just like, let's just give it to Netflix. It's gonna get demonetized
I've
anyway.
actually killed Chandler, and you have to find out who did it. God.
Oh my God.
I mean, I think Netflix has really been struggling for a while. I mean, especially if you look at the amount of shows they've cancelled.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, the big meme is that they just cancel every show that's remotely interesting and good. And they keep pumping out 15 Adam Sandler movies. Which is kind of
we definitely need those.
Well, apparently they do. Like in terms of retention, they're like one of the best. Yeah. People fucking love Adam Sandler movies.
To be fair, I did watch Click while I was sick. So
well, that's an older one, but like his new one. They're very easy to watch.
Yeah.
What is like a new Adam Sandler film? Because I feel like I haven't heard of an Adam Sandler film in like 10 years.
Well, because they're all just kind of like direct to Netflix, kind of meh.
It's like the equivalent of like direct to DVD, right? Where they don't really get a cinema theater release.
Have you guys watched any of the recent ones?
I watched one of them that was a murder mystery. Funny enough,
like a comedy murder mystery, or just like a straight up murder mystery?
Comedy murder mystery with like I think it was Jennifer Aniston, and that one was really bad. But I also didn't like. I think he's done a great job at making everyone know his films suck, but we'll still watch them.
Right.
Because you're kind of like, I mean, it's harmless.
Yeah.
It's like porridge. You're like, well, I mean, I guess.
I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
It sustains me for 2 hours. You know? I think that's what's happening.